All right, 6.3. We're going to start talking about geometry and some shapes. Tri, as in triangle, means 3. Now we have some specific triangles. We need to talk about an equilateral, which means all 3 sides are the equal length. Equilateral meaning equal sides. We also have something called an isosceles. Mine froze up on how to spell it. Isosceles means 2 sides are the same. All right, so a couple specials. Now, you'd think that I'd just say square. Quadra, as in quadrilateral, that means 4 sides. Now we have some, I can't just say square or rectangle. That's the one that everybody thinks about when you talk 4. But we also have something called parallelograms. A parallelogram means opposite sides are parallel. A rectangle and a square is a form of a parallelogram. But so's this guy. He's a parallelogram. He's kind of smushed to the side. Another one is a trapezoid. Only 2 sides are parallel. Top, bottom, or it could have been side to side. But basically the base is longer than the top. We also have something called a rhombus. Basically think of a rhombus as a square that got squished a little bit. All 4 sides are the same. So it looks like a parallelogram, but the difference between a true parallelogram and a rhombus is that a rhombus is all 4 sides are equal, but it's squished. It's like a square that got squished, where a parallelogram is like a rectangle that got squished. All right, we have penta, as in a pentagram. That means he's got 5. Hexagon, or hexa, that's 6. Hepta means 7. Now all these are pentagon, hexagon, heptagon, and then you get the octagon, meaning 8. Now we have a lot. They start getting more complex after this, but those are the main basics. All right. So how do we find the sum of the angles of one of these guys? Well, there's a formula. Basically, n is the number of sides minus 2 times 180 degrees. So what if I was talking about a heptagon? Well, heptagon means 7, so we go 7 minus 2. 7 minus 2 is 5, and 5 times 180. Which is an angle of 900 degrees. That means all the interior angles equal 900. All right? But that's the cute little formula for how many angles, the sum of the angles, interior angles. All right? So, next thing I want to make sure you guys understand is something called a perimeter. Perimeter is how far is it around, and going all the way around a shape. So if this was 8 foot by 3 foot, well, I know this is a rectangle. So if that's 8 foot, that is 8 foot. If this is 3 foot, that is 3 foot. Well, I'd go 8 plus 3 plus 8 plus 3. So the perimeter for a rectangle is the length plus the width plus the length plus the width. And if we pull an algebra stunt of combining like terms, I see 2L, so that'd be 2L plus 2W. A perimeter is around, the distance around. Now, if we're talking a circle, then we're talking the circumference. All right? Circumference is the same as a perimeter, except a perimeter is for your squares, your triangles, your oddball shapes. Circumference only applies to a circle. All right? And the formula for the circumference is 2 pi r. Basically, the r is the radius. So the radius. And what is the radius? From the center point out, that measurement. That is the radius. If we were talking all the way across a circle, we're talking about the diameter. Okay? So the big thing I want to talk about now, because there's, in the homework, there's some basic things about naming the shapes and finding the anterior angles and finding perimeters. But I know how much everybody loves a word problem. So we have a rectangle field. That is 3 times as long as it is wide. The perimeter is 64 yards. What's the dimension of the field? Well, we have to decipher, and yeah, you guys got some word problems like this. All right, the perimeter is 3 times as long. Well, first of all, I always recommend if they talk a shape, draw it. And there's our length times our width. And it's saying the length is and equals 3 times as the width. So that'd be the 3W. So now if I look at my perimeter from up here, I want to be able to solve it. I can substitute 3W in for that L. And I know that the perimeter is 64. I now have an equation I can solve. So, 2 times 3 is 6W plus 2W equals 64. 2 plus 6 is 8W. And then I'm going to divide by 8. And this is basically solving for an equation. So my width is 8 yards. I know it's yards because it's 64 yards. Well, if my width is that, well, then I can substitute 8 in for that. So my length is 3 times that, which is 24 yards. Right? All right, let's do another quickie. We have a rectangle. field. I like my fields. Is 400 feet around. Well, they're saying that is a perimeter. So when we say around, it means you have to go around it. It's 480 feet. So I now right now know that P equals 480 feet. If the length is 120 feet more than the width, what is the dimensions of the field? Well, again, let's draw our cute little picture. I have a length and a width, but this time it says the length is equals 120 more than the width. Well, more than is, from a previous chapter, you guys should have remembered that more than is plus, so that means W plus 120. Yeah, previous chapter's coming in to hit you guys. So my formula again is P equals 2L plus 2W. I'm going to substitute this in for my L. And I know that it's 480 feet for my P. All right, I got to distribute. I get 2W plus 240 plus 2W plus 480. All right, combine my like terms. I got 480 equals 4W plus 240. Didn't fold it up enough. All right, subtract off the 240. And then divide by the 4. So the width is 60 feet. Well, if the width is 60 feet, I'm going to come over here, so the length is 60 plus 120, which is 180 feet. All right. These are the type of word problems you're going to come across in this section. They get a lot more complex, but right now you're really dealing with simple ones. Good luck.